we're gonna do some power ranking today. Um, we're gonna get in here. Summer 2023 is just around the corner. By just around the corner, I mean literally tomorrow. So by the time you guys are listening to this, you probably are getting ready to watch the LCS. So, definitely a nice thing to kind of get you warmed up for it. So we're gonna go through. We're gonna kind of break down the teams that we're looking at for next year and or for this. I mean, this season here is split, and just kind of see where we're at right there. So what we're gonna do is let me see here. We're gonna go down the list. Actually, I think we're gonna go up the list because that's always a good thing there. Starting with the lowest and working our way up, just so you guys can we can kind of build tension and stuff like that. So obviously, I'm gonna basically go off kind of what every year looks like is gonna be the end of the road here, and it's actually gonna end up being for team number 10. Who's gonna I feel is gonna be just the worst going into this split is definitely gonna be Dignitas. So I think the reason why is honestly because they went out and they decided that they were going to get someone who plays Heroes of the Storm or who played Heroes of the Storm and get this guy, bring him in and bring him into top lane. I definitely think he's better than Armut was, um, but I definitely don't think that he's gonna be just amazing. Um, Also, they also brought on, weirdly enough, they brought on, um, Diamond, who has been basically a support that's been in like the challenger scene, that kind of stuff. There, I think he was with FlyQuest for a while too, either FlyQuest like challengers or FlyQuest just in general. I'm trying to think, but Diamond's been like all around C9, all this different stuff too. But I don't think Diamond's actually better than Ignar. But of course, I think then Ignar when moved up to NRG, which is good for them, I think, honestly. So let's take a look here. So they obviously have Rich in the top lane, who's that Heroes of the Storm guy. Then they have Santorin, Jensen, Tomo, and Diamond. So they actually do have the ability here with this roster to bring in someone from a different region. They actually do have a spot open um, for an import. So I would be interested to see kind of how that goes. If midway through the season they realize, oh crap, everything's going kind of to shit. Let's see what's going on here. Um, they might be able to bring someone in for like a bot lane or something like that. That's I think a good spot for it. Tomo, I just don't see really doing amazing. He could do great. He was pretty good bot laner in the like challenger scene and stuff like that. But to actually bring him in and play at this high of a level and stuff like that, we'll have to see if he can do that. So that'll be something there. So let's see. Um, I'm trying to think of who would actually be a import ADC that they could bring in. I don't think there's a ton of ADCs that are teamless right now. Um, I mean they do have Spawn in Dig Challengers, so that's good there. You could bring Dig Challenger, you could bring Spawn up or whatever. Actually, I don't know if they actually still have Dig Challengers and all that. I think maybe they were one of the teams that just didn't keep their Dig or their Challengers roster and all that because all that was crazy. Um, but they also do. I guess they do have Sven Skaren as a strategic coach as well, which is interesting there. Um, which would be kind of cool there. They have I mean, he's retired basically, but I mean, we'll see how that actually comes together. He's a strategic coach, so that he'll be able to help out Santorin, which I don't think Santorin really needs the help. It's just kind of getting them all together and figuring an actual like a way forward. It maybe Rich can bring something together and actually bring some aggression in the top lane that's not just play Gnar and get a win off that. Um, hopefully that's just good. Hopefully he's able to do stuff. But we'll see. We'll see for sure with that. So that's number 10. Now we're up to number 9, which is going to be Immortals. Immortals is a team that I honestly think won't do amazing, but I do like what they're doing. As I've said the last couple of years too. I think last season I said the same thing where I'm like, I like what they're doing, but it's just kind of iffy. So we basically have, let's see here. We have Solo in the top lane. I think Solo is definitely a bit of a upgrade, I would say. He's very solid. He was one of the big reasons that TSM actually got a lot of the wins that they did because he was so solid in the top lane there. Then we turn into in the jungle. We have Kenvi, which Kenvi has been pretty good there. He really needs to unlock his whole like best jungler ever kind of thing. In when he was in 100 Thieves Next or 100 Thieves Challenger and stuff like that, Kenvi was kicking ass, and now he jumps in here and he just kind of is, and it's like, okay, cool. So it's not great. So honestly, like we'll see how Kenvi can work, especially if Solo is allowing him to get, with the solid, solid top lane, if he's able to kind of maybe take a more, kind of get, pick up Kindred, pick up Kha'Zix, that kind of stuff there, where he's actually able to get in, do some crazy damage, and get out, and all that stuff, basically. Then they have in the mid lane Balulu, who actually Balulu did play really well when he was playing last split towards the end there. I am glad that he's back in the mid lane. That's actually pretty good that they brought him on once again. His contract is actually up next year, so at the end of after Worlds and stuff like that. Actually, oh no, for even another year. That's great. So 2024. So that's good there. And then we have Tactical and Treats. They did bring Treats in, which is pretty good. I didn't really like the way that Fleshy kind of was on. Like, I just didn't get what Fleshy was about. He was all about this, like, oh, this Pyke, and he's a hook champion guy, and just was like, okay, like, that wasn't really the meta, but that's fine, I guess, but he just kind of got shit stomped, unfortunately. So, Tactical and Treats could be a solid bottom lane if they actually kind of come together. I think technically didn't Tactical and Treats play together on TSM? Because Doublelift and Treats played on TSM, and Tactical was the replacement for Doublelift when they left. So I think they might have actually crossed paths. Yeah, that's possible that they definitely did. I don't know, but I honestly think that that it's kind of cool that's going on there. And they have actually Joey too as a sub, but he's also kind of an assistant coach that they're doing there. So maybe they're thinking if Treats doesn't work out for whatever reason, which I don't get really. But you always need always need a sub to kind of just in case something happens or whatever. But Treats was a really good part of the roster for TSM when they had that there. So I think that's going to be a decent team, but it's not. I don't think there's enough that's kind of there for them. I think the other teams are just going to be better. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. They're ninth. If people play up to what they're supposed to play, it could be a great team. That's honestly true with even Dignitas too. I don't think Dignitas is going to be garbage, but I just think they have to figure out what they're actually going to do there. All right. So next up on the list, weirdly enough, is going to be TSM, who is probably just going to finish off this year, and then they're going to be done with the LCS. We'll see how that works. And it's just kind of a strange, I don't know. I just think it's an insane roster that they're working with. So they have Haunter in the top lane, who that's great. Sure, Haunter's fine. I don't mind Haunter. He seemed all right when they were playing the last couple of games last year. When there was the whole like issue and stuff like that. Um, like that's fine. That's no big deal. But then also, they have what's it called here? They ended up getting rid of Maple, which is crazy, I think. But then they have Boogie, who is jumping into is still in the jungle role there. Boogie was actually one of the big reasons why I feel like they actually did pretty well last year. Um, Boogie and Maple, they were able to just take over games and just really do great. But they lost Maple. I don't know if they actually just let him go or if, yeah, it seems like they just actually just let him go. So I don't know. And then they have so in the mid lane they're supposed to have Ruby, who Ruby was actually from Heretics, and Ruby seemed like he was okay in Heretics, over in the LEC, but he didn't seem like he was gonna be just he didn't seem amazing. Team Heretics, I don't even think made it to like any either of the off seasons there during like winter or spring. So we'll see. Um, but then I don't think also Ruby has his whole green card situation or his visa situation set. So they're actually bringing in Insanity, which sure. Um, I think Insanity with Haunter and Wild Turtle in the bot lane. I think Insanity could be pretty decent. Um, like he could play well. Homegrown talent, all this different stuff. I think the last time we saw him was on Immortals. I think like officially we saw him was in Immortals. That's at least where I remember him from. Um, but I mean, he could be pretty good. We'll see there. And then obviously, like I said, Wild Turtle and Chime in the bot lane, which is what they were finishing up last year. So um, could be pretty decent. I don't love the Wild Turtle stuff there. Like I really just don't get why they decided that um like yeah, let's bring Turtle back. I mean, it's for the probably for the fans, I would say. Since this is their last season, they're probably just like, you know what, throw them in there. That's fine. That's no big deal. Um, because I honestly thought Neo wasn't doing horrible, but Neo wasn't amazing either. I don't know who they would have gotten instead. I mean, maybe you could just bring someone up from like actually up. Like you could brought, someone from one of the challenger teams or from any of the NACL teams. You definitely could have brought up instead of having just Turtle, who's, I mean, he popped off towards a couple games towards the end of the last year, but he wasn't like killing it really. He was just playing as Turtle. But if Turtle can play aggressive like he has in the past, and this team can really play with, um, with a bot lane centric meta, which is what it's looking like it's going to be for sure. At least the first couple of weeks are going to be Zerayumi, uh, Milio and Lucian, or Lucian and Nami, or even like Milio and Kog'Maw. Like you're gonna have to figure all that out. So that's probably gonna be a bot lane centric meta right there, which is always fun. Um, and then basically you're gonna have to just kind of Turtle be Turtle, and actually play like the stuff that he wants to play, like the older stuff like Ezreal and stuff like that. I just spilled water all over the side here. Onto some crazy stuff. If we can let Turtle be Turtle and actually play some stuff that he wants to play, stuff that I feel like he doesn't need the hands for, then I think we'll be good there. If he wants to build Triforce Ash or something like that, sure, that's great. We can figure out that when we get to it, really. But I think that's gonna be good for TSM there. The next bit we have here is actually going to be, let me pull it up here. I need to make sure I have the roster all set there, especially since they're a new addition to the whole league and everything like that. And that is going to be NRG. NRG ended up taking over the spot of CLG. Rumors have it that actually NRG, I think this is going to be 7th here. NRG ended up actually, I guess, they were paid by CLG apparently to take their spot, like with equity and stuff. It's craziness. Basically, there's no reason why, um, like there's almost a question of why did we even like why are we selling in the first place, but because we can't get any money for it and stuff. I don't know. It's definitely something strange. CLG I guess needed to get some stuff out of there. So they needed to figure out some stuff. But I honestly liked the CLG kind of brand and all that. It was historic. It was, nice for the esports kind of like history scene and all that. But now it's NRG. So NRG has basically the whole roster of just CLG, but they changed it up just a bit. So they actually did was they have Dokla in top lane, which was for CLG, Contracts, Palafox, and then they change it up in the ADC part here where they actually have FBI, which great. I like the idea that you bring in FBI. He wasn't killing it on Evil Geniuses last season. I don't think that team was really meant for him. But we'll see. And then we have Ignar. I think Ignar and FBI is a good match, like a good team combination there. Just because honestly, that's a cool kind of combination. And then they also have so they have Ignar, but they also have apparently Poom as well. Like Poom is there, but there's no actual talk about whether or not he's officially like a sub or he's like the sixth man kind of thing. And then they even have a sub bot laner as Apollo, who's Apollo Price. I don't know if you guys remember Apollo from the old Clutch days and all that. Clutch was great. I liked watching their whole rise and fall really. But not even to their own perspective. Like they weren't even like meaning to fall. They just Clutch got sold, and they were like, oh, wonderful. And now it's Dignitas, I think. Is what Clutch is now. Yeah, Clutch is Dignitas now. How the mighty have fallen. But I think it's still good. I think it was still a good time. They did pretty good there. And Apollo would be a good bot laner. He's a little old. I say old. He's an older player. I don't think they should bring him in. Like if FPS and they're doing great, they shouldn't just swap him out and just say, oh yeah, we're just gonna bring Apollo in because he knows what he's doing. I remember Apollo was always good. Who was it? Apollo and pretty exactly who used to always be with Apollo. But it was good. I mean, those two were good. Was it Apollo and Ignar? I don't think so. I don't think so. Apollo and Vulcan, maybe? I think it was Apollo and Vulcan. I don't remember. But it was good. It was pretty good there. So, I think what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to the next. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, that team shouldn't be that bad. That's why I put them kind of middle of the pack. I put them 7th. So 7th isn't terrible, but it's not great either. I just think the other teams can play. Like I see a way that the other teams can do well. I just don't see it here with these guys. But it should be fine. I'm interested to see how they actually end up working out. So next we have Evil Geniuses. Evil Geniuses in 6th. So just making it into basically to not to say finals, into playoffs here. So Evil Geniuses, apparently evilgeniuses.na. Oh geez. Let's see here, and we end up having kind of an interesting roster that I didn't really get. Is this new? This is new. Wait, this is literally yesterday. Shit. Okay. Um. So this is I. You know what? I have evil geniuses muted on Twitter, so I don't see their stuff because I don't like evil geniuses as a organization. But this is confirmed. This is actually I think all confirmed here. We have Revenge in the top lane. Who was originally obviously from um Immortals. We have Armeo as the jungler, but also as they have Shiden from the Evil Genius Challengers team, which Shiden's pretty good. Good, young kid. Like I think it's a good thing that he's kind of working alongside Armeo. Armeo's been in the scene forever. He's been a coach. He's been doing this, so that's nice. Um, their mid lane obviously is JoJo, Mr. Joseph June. So that's fun there. JoJo Pyun is pretty good there. And then they have Unforgiven, which is crazy. And then they have Ayla. That should be a pretty good roster. Like that's why I kind of put them just six. Like they could take games off the top, teams and stuff like that. Revenge, I think, if he can get in and he can actually do some good stuff, and he can actually if he can play consistently, I feel like he's just a player who plays a lot of um like a lot, characters with a lot of agency. So he plays obviously his Riven, he plays Aurelia, that kind of stuff. He can just get free to do that and allow Armeo, or honestly even Shaden to help out and just be like the tank guy, or just a facilitator, that kind of stuff. That'd be great. I also think you need to free up Jojo Pyun. He's real good on his own, obviously. I don't think he's kind of that supportive playstyle guy. He's definitely, I see, like when I think of Jojo Pyun, I think of Akali play. I think of basically that kind of stuff there. Those kind of assassins, that stuff. So I think it'd be interesting to see if this new season actually or split actually kind of like um, brings it full circle and he can actually get back into that kind of stuff. Then Unforgiven and Ayla, that is great. So I think that's actually a really good idea. To have uh, Unforgiven, who was a great bot laner. He was originally on 100 Thieves, I believe. Um, Let me see what he's. I want to definitely double check that because I thought he was originally, I think, brought in for. Um. Oh, okay. Yeah, he was brought on 100 Thieves. Then he was originally Mad Lions. Excuse me. He was on Mad Lions. Then he was brought to 100 Thieves Academy, and then he was brought to 100 Thieves Challengers. And then now he's on Evil Geniuses, which is great. I think that's cool. So I think that was Academy turned into Challengers. That's why he got transferred over. But Unforgiven's great, and then Ayla as well. Bill, he's seems like a nice character, pretty good there. I think he could go well with Unforgiven the way that Unforgiven has played in the past. So I think it'd be cool. It'd be cool to see how well this really goes here. Then we have, you'll never guess which one we have next. We have in fifth place, we have my wife's favorite team, 100 Thieves. So 100 Thieves, the reason why I'm doing this actually is because I kind of don't, and I don't love the way that they're kind of doing stuff, but we'll see. They have Someday, for whatever reason, back up in top lane. Um, they just ended up basically like kind of getting rid of they kind of ended up getting rid of Mr. Tenacity. Like Tenacity was like, you know what, I'm gonna go and go over to Korea and basically party over there basically for a while with LS and all that. But I mean, he has to do his own thing. He just kind of wants to see. He's kind of semi-retired, kind of stepping away, that kind of stuff there, which is fine. That's completely fine. However, someday I don't think is the answer here for top lane. We'll go more into that as we kind of talk more all over about it. Then we have closer. Closer's great. Great player. Great. Kind of if he's given the right champions and all that, he can just take over a game, be completely ridiculous and everything like that. Then we have double. So actually, no, we have Quid in the mid lane. He's a new player or like a younger player from Korea. He originally was on Gen G, but Quid was. I mean, Quid will be great. I think it'll be interesting to kind of see how this young kid coming in will be able to kind of be shaped by the people around him. Like someday, I think that could be why they took someday back to kind of because he's Korean, but he's actually technically American, or like with green card type stuff. He speaks great, Korean and all that. Kind of a good kind of mentor for Quid and all this here. Since Someday has actually been really one of the best import top lanes that we've had. I would say, it's like Impact and then him for sure. But then we obviously have Double Lift. Double Lift, my boy, as you guys can tell from the shirt, old Double Lift shirt from the TSM times. When he had the pocket pick Lucian and all that. So it was a good time. It was great shirt there. And then Busio. So Double Lift and Busio, great. They were pretty good laning last year. They kind of started off weird, and then they did really strong, and then they kind of dipped again, and it just kind of was streaky. So we'll see if they can actually work together now that they've been playing for a while, and they can actually kind of figure their stuff out. It seemed like Double Lift had some real good, like, kind of feeling about playing the game, because especially this whole rant about, well, I didn't know I was going to be out of, I didn't know I was going to be out of a job for so long, and this and that, from the whole strike and everything like that, which we can get into in another episode and all that about the strike and the walkout and that kind of stuff. There, we'll talk about that at some point. And then they also have a top sub as Jenkins, and I kind of find this interesting, only because, like, I'm not sure why, if anything, why they're having a sub for Someday, unless they kind of understand that Someday just, maybe he just kind of is playing like a half role, and he's like playing top lane most of the time, but then he's like, I'm just gonna hang out this day and let Jenkins get some help in there and that kind of stuff. I mean, who knows? I mean, Jenkins is an NA resident as well, so that's gonna be good there. But I mean, maybe they'll just bring Someday to kind of specifically help Quid. They didn't want to maybe lock in Jenkins and kind of get that set there. But we'll see. We'll see how that kind of works out there. Let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, nothing really. I was looking at like the history of stuff, but it'll be interesting to see kind of how this goes here. Up next, we have my favorite team, actually. We have Team Liquid. Let's go, Liquid. And let's see here. Gotta scroll past the fourth meme. And we actually have right here. We have we have Summit again in the top lane. Basically they just kept it the same, which is fine. I'm okay with it. They kept Summit, which I don't love Summit, but it's fine. They have Pyosik, Harry, Yeon, and Core JJ. So cool. I definitely think that's a cool thing. They actually took, so Marin ended up leaving, and they brought in they promoted Rainover to head coach, and then Dodo from general manager to general manager / assistant coach. Which, if they want someone to like help coach, I'm here as well. Dodo, hit me up. That's fine. And honestly, I honestly think that these teams are going to be pretty good. This should be a good, good bunch of teams here, good bunch of people here. Summit is if he can just stop inting and like he had great solo kills last split. He was kicking ass. He was doing great. He's taking names. All this great solo kills. If he can actually like get out here and not feed, then we're good. We're good to go. We're golden. But if he's gonna, then it kind of sucks. Wow, I didn't realize how young Pioshik was. There's mouse over his thing. Pioshik though, he seems to be kind of settling in to the whole like NA culture and stuff like that. Hopefully, this year together and stuff like that has helped them kind of learn a little bit more. Then they obviously have Harry, Yeon, and Core JJ. Core, I think, is honestly, doing great. He'll be great with these supports that are seemingly doing pretty well. If we can get Yeon just a little bit more confidence, I feel, then we'll be good to go, and we can actually start, owning games instead of having him just on. I just remember him constantly last season being on Zaya and just kind of doing what's needed, while Harry and Pioshik, basically took off, and then Summit would just solidly win top lane, and then int a couple games away, and you'd be like, well, okay, what's going on here? What is actually going on? But I'm interested. I'm interested in seeing how this game, how this team really works together. Again, so I'm glad that they didn't just blow it up after, this end of the year here, from the spring split, and they didn't really get what they wanted to, as not even making playoffs. So honestly, the fact that they didn't make playoffs and they still kept Team Liquid like together is just is perfect. I love it. I love the commitment, like the whole commitment to the bit. I like when someone commits to a bit, someone's speaking in a British accent just to piss you off, and he keeps doing it, and he just commits to it. That's great. I love that. That's amazing. It's annoying, but it's great. Like this, it's annoying but great. So it should be fun. Should be a good time. That was number 4, obviously, as it's the 4th meme. But really, I do think they're 4th. I don't just say 4th because of the meme. Up next, we have. This is gonna be a little strange. This is 4th, or this is 3rd here. Okay, 3rd. You're gonna be surprised. I think because this is a big like thing where everyone's like, "Really? Only 3rd?" Some people have them up higher and stuff like that. FlyQuest. I definitely think FlyQuest is gonna be a little bit further down. I don't even know if they're further down. They don't even seem like they're that bad. They should do pretty well this year. Like I just think they're gonna maybe get not like kind of kicked around a little bit by the other teams. Just because there's some new stuff and all that, but they were very fallible later in the at the end of last season. They figured them out. Golden Guardians figured them out. Even like Team Liquid, and I think even did Dignitas get a win off them? I don't remember. But they ended up, being like completely undefeated, and then we figured out, hey, don't give Prince Zeri, and then you were good to go. Basically, is the idea there. But obviously they have Impact, Spica, Vikla, Prince, and Vulcan, who's the new addition there. Interested in see how Vulcan goes. Kind of hilarious, I feel. That Vulcan was doing the whole tweeting and shit like that of, oh, you gotta replace, bring back Winsome, when like Winsome was there and Ayla was still trying to figure out all of his stuff. And the fact that he went in and he actually just took the guy's job. Like that's perfect. Talking so much shit, you actually take the guy's job. Lovely. But we'll see how that kind of works in the bot lane, Prince and Vulcan. From what I've heard, Vulcan's pretty like, he seems to be kind of the driver of the team, which is interesting. But they have Impact, who is always vocal whenever I see anything like that. Spica is just gonna play Spica shit. I am wondering if he's gonna be more tanky this year, like he had been with the Maokai Amumu type stuff, or if he's gonna turn more into the, Kha'Zix, Kindred, um, Graves, that kind of stuff there. Ivern jungle. Actually, I don't think Ivern's enabled for this split, or at least for the first couple weeks, because he's new and all this different stuff. But we'll see. I mean, and Vikla was pretty decent. I mean, Vikla was there. People were saying, "Oh, Vikla's gonna be," Vikla was kicking ass last season and stuff. I mean, I think that's good. Let me see here. Here. Let's see if we can figure out there. Vikla, okay, there. Yeah, I mean, Vikla was just good. I mean, Vikla was a great player. Um, so I think he was not horrible. We'll see how he goes into this, this next. I wouldn't even call it a sophomore split, but it's just the next, summer ranking and stuff like that. They're playing tomorrow, obviously, as well. Everybody's playing tomorrow, so it'll be fun there. All right, and then we're up to number two. Two on the list is one of my favorite teams, Golden Guardians. I'm. It was just awesome the way that Golden Guardians did pretty well. And I was loving it. So basically, um, they basically ended up bringing in the same exact thing, and have Licorice, River, Gory, Stixay, and Huhi. They also have a support bot, who's Array. Array, I think isn't he on something else? What is Array part of? He's on Golden Guardians, but like, isn't he on Golden Guardians like Academy or something like that? Array, I've seen him on like other stuff. Oh, he's part of St. Thomas. Yeah, that's what it was. Wait, was it? No, it's Shogo. I'm so confused. I've seen him on other stuff. I've seen Array on other stuff. He was on Grand Canyon University. Actually, I think it's just Gold Card United, GCU. I guess he was on. Yeah, he was on the Golden Guardians Academy or whatever. I guess that's what I'm thinking of. Um, but yeah, that could be an interest. This will be a great team. I mean, they already have been a great team. These guys are supposed to be sticking together. It looks like, for their whole update thing here is good until the end of 2024. So, I don't think there's going to be any issue here, but we'll see. I mean, we'll definitely see how it works. I think that'll be fun there. Um, I think if we can get Licorice to actually play like he did in MSI, it'll be amazing. It'll be great. We'll be able to figure it out. They'll be able to run the league basically. River and Gory, they can get on those. They're like duo champions basically. They can match any like mid jungle duo. Honestly, it looked like even in the world they could kind of run them, which is really good. They could take it off BLG. Um, they just played. They played pretty well. They played like, if you look at the way that they played in play-ins and stuff like that, I definitely think that they can actually just be like the quality of those teams to an extent. I feel is same as like from like NRG down basically, on my list here. So I think it'd be good. I think they're gonna be able to figure it out. Stixay and Huhi. I was amazed by Stixay at MSI this year. Um, I'm glad that he's just kicking ass. Like, I like to be proven wrong. If you go back and you actually look at me, um, talking about the spring for 2023, I was saying, you have Stixay, is gonna be a no from me, dog. But I'm like, straight up, this is some good shit. This is good. Like, he's doing great work, which I enjoy. I enjoy seeing him do such good work. And who he obviously he's just killing it. He can play anything really, which is super fun, and I think that's good. So obviously that leaves only one team, and that is Cloud9 as number one. So Cloud9, I think the biggest thing is honestly Them being like just ahead and actually winning against Cloud or against Evil Geniuses just puts them ahead. I think that's the only thing that puts them actually ahead of Golden Guardians. I would have said Golden Guardians number one if they hadn't beaten, if Cloud9 hadn't beaten Golden Guardians, and Golden Guardians would be number one. Um, but they have obviously Fudge, Blabber, M&S, Berserker, and Sven. I definitely think that's cool. I am interested in kind of seeing, um, kind of again how this is working. All of these guys are at least extended through next year, which is good. Or their contracts end next year, so that'll be interesting there. Um, Looks like a lot of the coaches and all that ended up leaving in general. We just maybe don't have all the info on the Cloud9 kind of positions and all that. But Fudge has been kicking ass. Blabber obviously has been pretty good too. I could see Blabber if they don't get to Worlds and if they don't do amazing. I think this could be the last split with C9 that Blabber has. He's been with them since 2018, so I'd be interested in kind of seeing how he takes like a bad loss and all this different stuff. They don't make it. They don't make it to Worlds, or they fry out at Worlds and all this different stuff. They make it. And then obviously MNS, Berserker, and Sven in the bot side like area. I think that'll be interesting to see. Wait, really? This is interesting. I just saw this here. Blabber's actually extended. His contract has been extended to 2026, which is very strange. Unless they just want to build around him specifically, and they'll kind of change stuff around. Um, that's I think just a little bit strange that that's the longest contract of any of their players. It's gonna be definitely an interesting thing to see there. But Berserker and Sven have been great. I think Zen possibly could be is like the weak point in this team. Um, if they bring on actual support, great. You know, I think Berserker is well and truly like formed enough now that you can just actually give him a real support and he'll do great. Bring him something like Vulcan. Bring him something like I don't know any of the supports really in the league. Most of the supports in the league, and then he'll be pretty good. I actually don't. I'm thinking about it. I'm like I don't see like support as a great like lane in LCS really. I mean you bring him core, Berserker might be just cracked or they just don't work together. I don't know, but it's interesting. I think it's a good kind of to see how this works here. I think we'd be interested to see the way that Cloud9 kind of plays, if they can keep up what they did last split, and see if they can get first again and get out of get to Worlds, get out of groups, get all that kind of stuff there. Um, and that's the show, guys. It was Cloud9. I'll go through it from top to bottom now. Cloud9, Golden Guardians, FlyQuest, Team Liquid, 100 Thieves, Evil Geniuses, NRG, TSM, IMT, and Dignitas. So that's the way we're working with that. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode of everything, guys. Probably gonna cut the stream right here for a little bit, and then I will be right back. Well, actually, you know what? I think I might even just cause it to yeah, I'll end it so I can get the actual like streaming thing working, so I can go make the copy of it and all that. We'll figure it out. And but then I can also do a I'll restart the stream in a little bit, maybe play some solo queue and that kind of stuff there. But yeah, I will see you all on the other side. Peace out, folks.